How's it going? My name is Brent from Encore PPF and Tint, and today we are going to be installing some window tint on a 2022 Chevy Silverado ZR2. We're going to be installing paint protection film on this hood and this hood scoop here. I'm not sure if I'm going to break those videos up. We'll see. I think they'll probably go together, but I might break them up. So we'll know in a little bit. Or actually, you'll know right now because I'll change the intro. All right, but we're gonna start with this hood scoop today. And this is all done. This is all cut out by Core. The kit is cut out with Core. We're gonna install, this is all one piece, and then this is here is a separate piece. And I think that this is probably like at least 3 pieces to go on here and get the coverage on this vent. But currently we're going to be working on this here. The kit does cut around the lettering on the side, which I didn't want to remove from way up there. All right, well, first I'm going to make that camera straight because I don't know, when I'm down here looking at it, that kind of bothers me. Yeah, I don't know, that seems like the same. Maybe it's a little better, maybe it's not. That's what we got though this time. That's what we're gonna work with. Okay, so I got my race ramps out here. These are great for getting a little bit taller and being able to reach out further into a hood when you've got a tall vehicle like this. I don't know, this is probably what, at least a 5-inch lift with some big old tires on it. I'm gonna be standing on the tires in order to reach the middle of that. So let's get moving. All right, something I am gonna do is this comes down between the letters, and honestly, I don't see this taking any damage in there. I'm just gonna cut that part off because I don't want to deal with it. And then even this side here, I did consider cutting this out, but I think I'll just leave it and we'll work with it. I don't see any damage happening there either, but anyway. That's the only adjustment I'm going to make to this pattern. Oh, I better make it to both sides though. All right, let's get up here and get this done. This is gonna be, just because this truck's so tall, I mean, this is gonna be a little bit of a headache, but seems okay. Hopefully the pattern fits really good, which will definitely be a huge help to the difficulty level of this. Looks like we're gonna need a little bit of stretch from left to right. Look at all that finger there. I really feel like that this area needs to be squeegeed down before we put the stretch on it, but that's not really going to be possible, is it? Because, let's see. It definitely needs a good stretch or something from left to, maybe it's not a lot. Let's see here. If I lay this down just like that, what's that give me over here? That's pretty close actually. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw some tack in here on this side, and we're gonna start around that because that's such a crucial part. Oh man, the air conditioning feels really good coming directly out of the vents up here. I don't usually get all that air conditioning on me. Oh, that's crummy timing, huh? Where is that? Over there? All right, let's get this on here. It's gonna start pre-tacking for sure. Let's get moving. So we want all this stuff here to be in place, and I'm also coming back here and checking these edges. because they're going over the edge, and we want to make sure that those are in place really well. We want that to be right at that edge and right across the top there. Okay, that looks good. I'm gonna put a squeegee on there and then squeegee that down. Okay, let's see what we can do here. It looks like it wants a tiny bit of stretch forward. That's bumping in to that piece, and we don't want that because I don't want to be coming through and trimming any of that up here. Just make a little adjustment to that by pulling this back. Okay, that is, it's hard to see out here. Okay, so that now is not hanging over the edge. Now that I'm way over here, I can really see down there. I'm gonna come right up over the edge here. Oh, I just kind of pinched it over on itself right there. Get that to work back up, and then push that out. Okay, and then let's see here. This is going to need to stretch down over to here, and maybe it wants that stretched in right now first. It does look pretty good like that, so let's go ahead and do that. And then we'll lay that down, stretch, squeegee all this out. Okay. All right, we did end up with a little bit of chicken skin there. Chicken skin, that's what that's called, where the film starts to tack. Yeah, this is not tacking at all. Okay, so I'm gonna lift all that back up. We're gonna get some tack solution in there. You know, we're trying to stick this to plastic, which, you know, doesn't want to stick great the same as paint to plastic. Okay, and then let's get that pulled into place, and then let's get all this squeegeed out. So go straight down there. We'll take all this down and out the bottom. Okay. Wow, this really isn't fun. This part. I don't like standing up on the tire and doing work. Note to self. Okay, let's just hope this thing fits good. And then I'm gonna go ahead, since we're right here and we don't want to create any like real hard stretch lines. Well, that seems fine. It's just there's like a pinch right there in the material, which I don't like. So I'm actually gonna pull back on that a little bit and get that part pushed down. And then we'll get over to the other side. There, now that pinch is gone. I like that much better. That's not a good way to leave film, because as that starts to dry, you're gonna leave a mark in the adhesive right there, and you're gonna need to stretch that out. And so, you know, this is not lining up good back here now. Shit, I don't know what to do about that. Let's do the other side and see how that comes out. Okay, let's go over there. All right. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm holding that, I'm stretching it into place and then just kind of holding it with my fingers. And that should kind of help it stick down a little. And let's push that out. I don't like the fact that there's stretch in here. I wish, and I don't know, maybe it's absolutely necessary, but I don't like it because it's gonna just keep creating that problem we're having. And it's totally possible that if you're bulking this, that there's no way around that. Okay. So, first things first, now before we start stretching this across, let's go ahead and get this out and squeegee down out of that recess, because that recess is going to want to continue to pop up and we don't want to deal with that. So if we get that pushed down now, then all the stretch happens in here instead of happening in here as well. Okay. And then we can go ahead and lay this down right like that. Oh, it's just going to keep popping it back up. Okay. I mean, that kind of makes sense because there's tension on it. It's just obviously going to want to continue to come back up. Okay, let's see what we can do here. All right, maybe I started this in the wrong spot. I don't know, it has to be perfect around this. You know, sometimes when you do these videos, it's like, man, I wish I knew. Let's get rid of this air though, because I feel like that the air, well, we can't push that air out currently because you can see how dry the adhesive is right there, and that's going to be a problem. We need to wet it down with something. There we go. Okay, and I'll push this air out and we'll get that kind of laid in place, and then we'll push this air out. Oh yeah, but this corner's not stuck down. That has to be down in order for the air to quit coming in there. That's a bunch of tack solution. You'd think that this would want to stay down now. So let's go ahead, squeegee that corner out right there, and hold that down in place. And then let's put this corner down, hold that in place for a moment. Okay, let's hope that that's good enough. And we'll get rid of this air now. Take that out the back. Okay, yep, that's better. All right, and then we'll go ahead and squeegee that out. And then let's take everything over towards us. Okay, let's see, how do we want to finish the rest of that? I guess we can just squeegee that right up and out the back. And then let's take this stuff down into the valley. Then we need to bring that kind of out towards the middle and take that back. And I'm going to switch over here. Can't really get into that recess very well. That car's not contouring great. So let's get this one. Okay, so first good pass there. Now let's make sure we got everything out of this valley here. Okay, great. That's looking really good. These corners here popping up a little bit. Let's see, if we take this off the back, those will stay down right now. So I'm gonna put just a little bit of tension down and kind of away this way, and then we'll wrap this stuff here down, and then that will make that corner stay down. Okay. All right, so things are looking pretty good. This is a lot of stretch here, and I don't know why it has all that. But it seems like it's gonna work. So it seems like it's designed to work, and that's good. Now I don't want to be pulled up too much. That pushed up too far over there. So let's go ahead and get some more slip in here. I wanted to bring this up just to the top of this ridge here, but I don't really want to be over the ridge. So let's try that right there, because if we're going to stretch this out later, it's probably going to dry for a bit while we deal with the front, and then I don't want to leave a stretch line. So if it's on this line here, we don't have to worry about a stretch line. All right, let's go work on the front. Damn, this is really rough on my back. I hurt my back riding quads in the dunes. Oh. All right, so these race ramps just work great for getting yourself a little bit taller and being nice to stand on without using like a ladder. Okay. All right, so let's get this stretched into place here around this. Okay, we'll go back to the black squeegee here for a minute. And let's see what we need. So I'm just stretching way out here to get this part stretched into place. That looks really good. And I'm just gonna, that's hanging over too far in the front now, unfortunately. Let's pull that back up. And let's see if there's anything we can do about that. I'm gonna let this sit just a little bit further back. It does bunch up a little material there, and we'll work with that though, because I don't want it hanging over the front here. So I'd rather work with that finger, that extra material. Okay. So let's see, if we stretch here, will that make any difference to this stuff? We don't want to do that yet. Okay, so let's get this lifted up. Let's get some tack under there, and then we'll lift it back up to here before we stretch this into place. As far as we'll lift this side up. Okay, let's get this extra material pushed out now. Okay, that is hanging over the edge just a tiny bit, and that's why we keep getting fingers popping up from there. Let's try to get some more tack in there and push that back down. It's a very, you know, awkward or very interesting let's see, like recess here. Like you need to get good pressure on the squeegee and really get into this recess really well, so you don't leave any water behind underneath the material. Okay, so I'm gonna swipe and hold. I'm just gonna go right to the edge, and then I'm pushing back this way on that edge to help that finger hopefully stay down. Okay, looks like it's coming up again. So let's see what we can do about drying that out and trying a little bit more pressure on it. That's not working. Let's get some more tack in there now that I kind of dried some of that out, because we might have had a bunch of slip in there that was diluting our tack solution. Okay, let's get this pulled up, make sure we don't have any pre-tacking. And we want to deal with this front first, because we're going to end up with a stretch mark in here if we let this sit for too long, and we don't want that. But let's get all the way back to this line here, the body line, and then we can get some, a little bit of slip in there, just make sure we don't get any pre-tacking. Get rid of some of this air. Okay. Now we can stretch down to this corner here. Let's get some tack in that corner, and really let's throw some tack in all of this, because we don't need this moving around once we get it in place, because that's going to give us that chicken skin, or it's really going to distort the adhesive if it just keeps sliding around on here. All right, so I'm trying to use my entire hand on there to hold this down, because you don't want any pressure points in small areas, because that's just gonna stick that down and then you're gonna distort the adhesive. Okay, so let's see how we doing here. I mean, that looks, let's stretch a little bit more and hope we can get some of this to come this way. So let's try that again. Okay, and we are gonna have a little bit of an issue because before we had some slip in there with the tack, and now we don't, but now we do because I just added some. Okay, so let's hold that right there. Let's get this squeegeed out over to this hand here. And then I did have some pressure on it, I thought, right in here, but it looks good. Nothing looks like pre-tacked, right? Otherwise I'd be lifting this part back up just a little bit. Okay, make sure you're not leaving anything behind on that ridge. And then let's squeegee all this stuff out. Okay, okay, great. That could have come down a little bit more, but that's fine. Now, let's go ahead and stretch back. And where we're going to stretch to is wherever this lettering here needs to be. And I'm going to put a bunch of tack in here. I'm going to hold around the lettering, stretch to the lettering, and then push the rest of this down with my other hand, squeegee it out. And I'm going to put this bottle right here. Make sure you're putting that on a towel or something. We don't want it hitting the hood with the bottom, and you don't want this on the windshield because it will scratch it. I know that sounds crazy, but it will. I've done it. So learn from me. Okay, so that looks pretty good right there. Now if you guys could just squeegee that out for me, please. Nothing? Okay, I'll do it myself. All right, so that's kind of started to pre-tack a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and we'll squeegee this out. We did get a tiny, minor, very minor stretch mark there, but we're gonna have to live with that. So there's really not much else we're gonna be able to do there. And that makes me just a little bit concerned for the other side that's been sitting and drying longer. So we'll see what we can do there in a little bit. We're gonna have to give ourselves a soft line to stretch from. Okay, let's go back up to that line in there. So yeah, we got quite a bit of stretch there, and now we're going to be hanging over the bottom here. Well, that's too big anyway. That's interesting. We're right against the bottom of those letters, and we're hanging way over here on this. So that is just gonna be what it is, and we're gonna have to trim that off. So let's go ahead and squeegee all this down. Now that U shape is because we got some stretch in there and the tension is releasing, and that is not going to work. Let's get back up to that line. I'm gonna hop down off of here, hopefully, and still be able to see. Yes, okay. Make sure that you don't have anything in your pouch that's gonna hit here, or you know, you've got like a belt or a you know, something that's gonna scratch the paint. Don't do it. Okay, get these recesses squeegeed out really good. Okay, that needs some tack to stay down, and this is gonna be interesting. These are some good sized fingers here. So we're gonna try to work all those down at the same time. Get most of that slip solution out of there. Just really thoroughly rinsing that out. And then we'll take this stuff down over the edge. You can see that I keep popping up when I hit the edge or when I'm stopping. And that's because we don't want to keep pressure on there, because you're going to leave marks in the adhesive. And then let's make sure that these fingers spread out as much as possible so that we can try to work them down. It'll be interesting to see if we do have this big of a finger on the other side. Okay, once we go over that edge, we can put some pressure back that way. Make sure that edge stays down. Oh, that's a good one. So that's pretty big. So I'm gonna bring it back up a little bit the other direction like that. We'll get that guy out of there. Just make sure we're breaking everything up as much as possible. Okay, now that we got all that down, we'll get some tack in here. And give this a final push down and basically swipe and hold is what we're gonna be working with here. And we'll just hold there. Make sure that we get a bunch of good pressure on that edge so it doesn't just continue to pop up. Okay, great. And we've got some tiny little edges that were coming up. And I'm not worried about them because they're over the wrap. So this thing kind of wraps down and then goes goes straight down. And so those little edges can pop up if they are unwilling to stay down right now while we get the rest of this stuff down. Okay. So as you can see, I'm holding this squeegee up like this here. And that's because I want this part to put a swipe and hold, but I don't want the rest of the squeegee pushing right here because that's going to leave a line and then a distortion in the adhesive. Okay, let's push this one down and do a swipe and hold with it. And then we'll go ahead and get a bunch more tack in here now that we know that's going to work out. That needs to pop up. I mean, look how far. That's over like almost a quarter inch too big. We'll also get to see if the other side is like that. Let's lift it up from back here so we can get some tack in there. Okay, lots of tack. All right, let's do this again. Make sure you're getting into that recess right there. Gosh, I gotta tell you, the time it's going to take on this hood is like really like almost like 2 hoods. It's like 2 hoods worth of work. This is taking quite a while. Okay, I'm drying this edge out a little bit just to see what we've got there, but there's, you know, this is the spot where it's starting to go over and off of this piece and then down here. So there's not much we're gonna be able to do about that until we trim it off. Now let's go ahead and get this laid down into place. Let's put some tack solution in there. Now we need to come down a little bit because we're hitting the bottom of the numbers there. I'm going to just swipe and hold there. And then let's see what we can now do about pushing down underneath that. We need something really narrow, which I don't think I have anything that narrow, so we'll see what we can work out. Oh, look at that! I do have this little guy in here. Oh, and he's just a little too thick, so we're going to have to hold him a little bit sideways. Maybe go, I don't know. Just do an angle like this, and I'm being fairly gentle. You can see I'm still kind of bunching the material up a little bit, and we don't want to bunch it up too much because we're going to make a finger we can't get rid of. Here. Okay, I'm going to go over that and then hold it where that finger was and see then if I hold it with my finger, if I can get enough pressure on it to keep that material that I kind of bunched up from continuing to pop up. And then we can go through and give that more pressure and squeegee down into this recess here. And then just go over that a few times because we want to make sure that We've got that all squeegeed out really good. Yeah, that's fine. Like I said, I'd consider just cutting that off down there to not even bother doing underneath there, but I'd say that's worth it. And these, you kind of could have left, I guess. I don't know. I think it's fine to cut them off though. That's an adjustment I made to that pattern that I think is worthy. All right, so I'm gonna come down over the edge and then we're gonna hold on this edge again. See if we can get some of this stuff to just stay down right now. We've got this stuff popping up a little bit here, so let's get that dried out now that we're not gonna be adding any more solution over here for a little bit. Okay, great. Okay, that looks really good. That went pretty good. Now, I'm gonna wrap this back in right now because I can see right here on the top, it's you know, lifting over the edge, and I want that to stay down. Let's get this little guy here. When you see these things, just go ahead and take care of them, because eventually they're gonna start to dry like that, and then when you do finally get them to push down, they're going to leave a distortion in the adhesive that's their same shape. So let's swipe and hold that. Like these guys here, I don't know what I'm gonna do about those necessarily. I mean, there's something we're gonna do about those, and that's either gonna be, I mean, I know exactly what I'm gonna do about those depending on what they do. If they just keep popping up like that, then we need to trim the edge of the material, because obviously we're hanging over a little bit, and that's what's causing them to pop up, because they're sitting in moisture down there. And so trimming them off is what's going to make them stay down. Yeah, they just keep coming back up like super easily. Like as fast as I can pull that squeegee up, they're popping right back up. All right, let's put some tack in this. And then we'll go ahead and make sure that this is over the edge there. Everything's off the top. And then I'm gonna go down right in the center here. All right, great. Then let's go ahead, get this piece down. Let's see, is that popped up, or I can't tell there. Nope, okay. There was just water sitting in there, so it looked like it had popped up and had water underneath it. Okay, this is going to want some stretch in it to get rid of the extra material right here. So let's work this down a little bit closer to that, to this. And then we could put a little stretch on it. I'm really not gonna be too picky about these pieces coming together, because in all honesty, I feel like that this is a little bit ridiculous, and I would be willing to cut this whole back off. I mean, this is great coverage, don't get me wrong. Okay, let's try, uh-oh, where's my, here it is. Okay, let's try this off. Try all this out back here so we can know what we're working with. Great. Now let's take care of this part here. Okay, back into the same squeegee, and you can see we've got a little bit of excess material there, so I am gonna just pull on this just a little bit this direction. Not much, because we're pretty much right at the edge anyway. So let's go ahead and get this down like this. Okay, and then the rest of this is gonna have to wrap over this top a little bit. It looks like it, you know, maybe when they, in the, you know, the computer, the kit wants to go further back, but the lettering says it can't. So maybe taking this lettering off would be a good thing then, and then just deleting that from the kit so that you could get this into position correctly. And going back a little bit farther would also help get rid of some of these fingers, although I'm not sure it'd be enough of them to really completely take care of them. Okay. All right, great. Let's take a look, let's see what all is popping up and what isn't. We really need to get to that other side over there. Okay, and let's, I really want to cut that off right now for some reason. Nah, let's just hold off. Let's get that other side taken care of. It's already sat for way too long because it's going to leave a stretch mark right there if we don't take some extra precaution here. Okay, let's get this all lifted back up. I want to make sure we don't have pre-tacking. There's a lot of tension right in here. So, got to get that pulled all the way back up to there. And when there's tensions, you can see because the lines or the fingers are going like this, that means you know there's tension in there. So let's squeegee that out and see how this is looking. Yeah, we're solidly off here. This placement must not be real uniform, I'm guessing. Although I don't remember it saying that in the computer. So that's a bummer. Because that's all the stretch we need. And this stuff's off by a quarter of an inch. So what are we gonna do about that? Take the lettering off, that's the option. So if you're doing one of these, take the lettering off, because I can tell you what I'm gonna do at this point. I'm gonna cut straight down right here, come across to here, and I'm gonna come straight across like that, I think. People might not like that, but I'm gonna salvage this piece because I've been working on this for so long. And let's go ahead and squeegee some of this out first. And actually, I don't know that we're gonna need much of any stretch, but if we do any stretching, I want it to be from a nice stretch here, where it's a little bit of a wet line instead of or a soft line instead of a hard line. That's been drying for so long. I don't know if you can see that in the GoPro, but it's like milky and black. Milky and black. And that's the worst spot to stretch away from. Okay, we've got some good fingers. This side does go to hanging over the edge again, just like the other side did. So that seems like it's gonna be pretty normal. Let's grab our spray bottle here, our slip, or I'm sorry, our tack. Let's get this laid down. It was the bottom of this or something, like one of these seams or something I hit while I was spraying some stuff under and scratched a windshield. It's like, oh, that sucks. Okay, we'll set this in place. And we need to come this way a little bit to get rid of that finger. And I think that's gonna be all that we can do for that. And let's squeegee out right here. So that's lined up well. And let's check the rest of this. Okay, so now we're just gonna squeegee this out. Okay, and let's get this over the edge there. Good swipe and hold on that. That looks really good. Staying down nicely. Okay, and then let's try this out. We want this little finger here. There's a finger right there. Want that to stay down. Okay, let's get this. That's not my drying towel, Brent. That's it. Okay, let's squeegee the rest of this out now. We can get down here. Yeah, that's a bummer. That's way off. And I mean, what we're gonna do with this is gonna look great. It's gonna look totally fine. Not gonna be a problem. I don't have my clip. What happened to that thing? I have, you know, this thing. Here it is. I was just gonna flick that off on the ground. People don't like that. I get it. I totally get it. All right, and then so let's take this straight over like this. And then at the edge, I'm gonna lift it up and I'm gonna go all the way through. That gives us a nice line to tear on. Great. And then we are going to start right here. And we are going to come across like that. Now I would like it if I could get that to tear right now, but be careful not to tear too far that way. Let's see, I wish I could, oh, I can kind of, okay. You know what I'm gonna do here for that? Actually, I'm gonna go get some scissors real quick. Okay, and we're going to go, so right about there, we're gonna go right there and just cut over to right there. Great, now you see how you can lay that down now once that's cut out? That's what we're looking for. Okay, so I'm gonna start, I would really like to start at the top, but I can't because we're gonna, you know, that's like impossible to try and cut like that. So let's go down here, and as far as I can get onto the surface there, it's gonna be right there. Okay, and by onto the surface, I just meant that the rest of this is hanging off the paint, and so we're not going to be able to get good pressure on that to get a good cut. So that's going to be good right there though. So I'm going to stretch that over just a little bit back this way. Let's get rid of the rest of this again. Let's lift this up and drag this all the way over the edge here. So I won't ever do another one of these without taking off. Let's get some tack in here. This is the, I won't ever do another one of these without cutting around it or taking the lettering off is your best bet. Because this unfortunately just does not fit. It's tough on these edges because they just soak up like anything that's down there. So it could be tack, it could be slip in there, and then it doesn't want to react as well because you can't really flush it out that great. But that one worked good now. So I got enough tack in there that it just went whoop and stayed stuck down. Okay, let's get this down again. And then we'll go eventually over to the other side and trim that stuff out, which is fine. I mean, that would have saved me a bunch of time if I'd done this side first. Because that was a headache on the other side and I could have skipped all that. All right, let's get this up and get this flushed out with tack. I gotta work this finger out now. Okay. I'm gonna go back to the black squeegee now. That doesn't belong in there. That belongs in there. And uh-oh, where'd it go? Must be down in here somewhere. Oh. All right. First I'm gonna replace the battery in this GoPro. Get this finger down. Okay, over that edge, start working our way down. There's not much over here for fingers on this side, but definitely right here, you know, and that's another thing too with your stretch towards the front. A little bit more stretch might be helpful, but then you're gonna hang over the edge. Okay, so we're gonna push all this down. We can see that that's all we're gonna get as far as spreading that finger out. So all this stuff can go down, and then let's get this, get a ton of tack in there now. And we'll do these swiping holds on this edge. So we need to get this down first. That's the most important, is the bigger fingers like this. Okay, let's start doing the swiping holds. Because you want to get those down and get them to stay down as quick as possible. Because the longer you keep fighting with those, the more work marks you're going to get in the shape of them. It'll happen because all we have is tack in there. So every time it pops up at that spot, it's not good. Okay, let's get this guy down now. And we'll swipe and hold there. I don't think I'm gonna be adding any more slip solution, so let's get that edge dried out pretty good. This thing is soaking wet now. Okay, and then we'll go right here, swipe and hold on that. Okay, great. Let's get back up here. We are bumping into the lettering here just a little bit. I'm gonna try pulling that lettering up and like unsticking it at the very top from the black plastic. And we'll go ahead and hopefully get that just barely laid down underneath there. Now let's go ahead and take care of this back side. Okay. And let's see, let's put a little tension on it like we did before. And we'll go right over in the middle. Make sure you keep a make a good pass on that, because we've got nothing but tack solution in there right now. Okay, then we're gonna go like this way with this because we've got that extra material. And we would prefer to wait on the stretching. Oh, that is already running into something there. Okay, and that's where it lines up. So that's a lot there. We are gonna take our scissors and fix that problem so they're not bumping into each other. So let's lay it over the top of it and then make a decision on that. And we'll go at a little bit of an angle. That might not, it might need to go all the way to the top. I don't know, let's see. Yeah, much better than it needs to go up to the top. It's hard when this stuff's just floating like this to get a good cut on it. If you watch the bumper video, I show you another technique for trimming the material like this without scissors that works super good in situations like this. Okay, so that looks like we can give it just enough stretch to get it to butt up, and then that gets rid of a majority of that finger there. So let's get that set in place right there. And we'll just squeegee that finger over. Can that come up that far? No, not really. So we need to put that finger back on the bottom like that. I just pulled back just a little bit that way. Okay, let's get these two pieces down now next to each other. Not overhanging, that's good. Let's try this out. Again, in this area, the top or this back piece is gonna have to wrap over just a little bit. Maybe we could have pulled back just a little bit more. Oh, good. There was just a piece of that material right there on this edge, and it looked like there was air under there, and I was like, no! Don't leave the edge on the, or don't leave air on the edge right here. You have to pull all this back up or hit it with a needle. But fortunately, nothing there. Okay. I did leave a water pocket right there with a little bit of air in it. That's a bummer. Let's get our needle out. Nothing else we can do out there. Okay, and actually I want to take all this stuff back to the back side here, because I like to put the needle in with my right hand. So let's go right in at the edge, and then let's push this stuff out towards the needle tip, and then we pull out and up with this, and then there we go. So I push up until I'm over the needle, and then I go back and up at the same time. You don't want to drag this across the paint protection film or you're going to leave a scratch in the material. So you go out and up at the same time, and then your finger, you hold your finger there, and all the rest of the fluid should come out of there like that. Now don't mess with that too much, because you're going to distort everything in the adhesive right there if you're messing with that. So it should look different when you pull that out. This should look, because this still has a little bit of milkiness to it, and then this looks real black because this is dry and that obviously isn't. Okay, the rest of that looks really good. Well, this looks good. We've got these fingers coming up, so we are going to need a little bit more tack in there and get those down, but first we have to deal with this. Okay, let's get this out of the way and get this edge pushed down really good, which only goes to right there now. Okay, great. Let's try that edge out. We'd be able to come back in a little bit and push all that down the rest of the way. As far as that corner, when we heat seal. All right, oh man. All right, some more tack in there. And let's get these pushed down. We're gonna do a swipe and hold on this. And just to right there, we're just gonna hold and hold and hold. With some good pressure. I mean, I'm not leaning on the car. All my pressure's into my arms, into that spot. All right, let's see how that does. Okay, and I was more pressure on this angle here where it starts to round down than I was on the very bottom of the material. So to have little fingers down below that would make sense. Now I'm trying to get the very bottom. Okay, and I think, let's see here. Okay, that is plenty good enough for now. You know, and this really is going to be a tough trim as well. Fortunately, it's hanging over a bit more here, so we're going to be able to use that to tear from. But if we lose our line on that, it's going to be really hard to start over. That, you know, cutting off these little bits of pieces is a real pain. I'm almost tempted to come all the way back up here to where it rounds over and trim it off there, but we'll try down below first and see how that goes. If it doesn't go well, I'm going to be trimming it up higher. Okay, let's get this little part just pushed down, because I basically just did that, showing you guys. Okay. Yeah, this part, I mean, you know now because you were watching the video, but this part's definitely getting its own video. The hood and this piece will not be done together. This is taking way too long to make it just one video. Let's grab this towel, because that does have less, it's soaking up less water. That's really, really damp. Okay. Make sure we don't have anything that's gonna scratch. I can lean up against the truck a little, which is better for my back. Swipe and hold. Okay, let's get this pushed back down. I'm always double checking areas and then pushing down what I can as it dries, and then if it sticks, great. If it doesn't, I'll see it later. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and trim this to kind of match the other side. So the way that I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna come right across here like that, and then I'm gonna come just straight down right here, and I'm gonna leave this part filled in, which is a little bit different than the other side, but the lettering is backwards, so it's not really gonna matter. Okay, so right, let's go from this side. From right there. So I'm putting my fingernail into that edge because it's really hard to see where the material starts. Let's get one more blade out. Hopefully I'm getting a good footage of this. Okay, then we'll come across with that till we run into this other line here. Great. And then we can come up from the bottom here. Let's see, I need to get just in a specific angle here so I can see the edges. Okay, great. And then right up to there. Let's see how we did. Okay, so we'll come up to that line. All right, great. That's coming apart nicely. Just push that right back down. It is gonna probably tear that up just a little bit, and it's not gonna be a perfect edge, but it is what it is. Okay, now let's see what we can do here. So I'm gonna just go to this edge and I'm gonna pull back real fast, get that to tear right there. Great. Let's push this edge down. Push this one down again, way out there. Okay, those fingers are popping back up. Let's go take a look at the front of this and see how it's doing. Okay, things are looking pretty good. We're at least to that edge where it starts to round over. Let's take care of this now. All right, those fingers are eventually going to leave a distortion in the adhesive, like I was talking about on the sides. I mean, that is going to be happening. If, you know, the longer they sit like that, the more pronounced it'll be, and it won't be the end of the world, but it's not great either. So let's get some tack on there, and then let's push these down and try holding them again in the recess there. They do go over the edge a little bit, and that's why they're popping up. I think I mentioned that already. So just getting a swipe and hold on this. And while we're holding that in place and keeping good pressure on it, I'm actually gonna dry some of this out here, so that it's not just filling, going right back in there. Okay, let's get this out like that. And let's push that down. Even this side is hanging over that edge a little bit. It's really hard to tell where the edge is when you're standing up above it like that. I think the back is going to be okay. We are going to need to trim maybe a little bit here. Let's see. Yeah, that's going to need to be trimmed, and this is going to need to be trimmed a little. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and do that right now. It would be so that we can get these fingers to stay down. Okay. Let's see. I'm also going to grab a ladder because I want to be up above it, looking down at it while I'm trimming. All right. And my 4-footer is somewhere else, so I'm going to try stepping on a lat or this stool. We'll see how this goes. Yep, that'll work. Just got to be careful that it doesn't slide out from underneath me. Okay, let's find where this is. So we have to go all the way back to right here. Let's get ourselves a new blade that feels a little dull. It's also going to be tough because chances are that edge isn't fully stuck down. When you're cutting across something that's not fully stuck down, it definitely is more difficult. Okay, nope. Gotta go more up like that. Let's see if this, you know, actually this corner looks okay. I think I can get, I already trimmed it, so let's just trim this, or see if we can pick this off of there. Let's get underneath it with the tip of the blade. And then I'm gonna put my finger on it. Missed it. see if I can tear away from there. This is, I don't want to jump down, but this is where you need tweezers. Okay, there we go. Now, from right here, so my edge is right there, and just start right here. We're gonna come here and just stay at the top of those. I did just go through that one, which is fine. It's just you need to know where the edge of your material is. Okay. And if you're gonna go through those, you just get good pressure through those fingers. Otherwise you need to do like a little sawing motion like that. Okay, and then around to that edge right there. And let's see if we can stick our fingernail in that and get it to break loose. Come on, baby. Not so far. Okay, let's see what we can do here. These edges suck to get, you know, to cut when they're so small like this. Like, you just would prefer to have a big old piece of film hanging out here to grab a hold of and to get this to break loose. Because I'm pretty sure I got enough pressure on it. I just can't get a tug, a good quick tug on this to get it to break loose. Okay, that's not working. Let's see what I can do here. I can get my finger behind it a little bit and then get a pinch. There it goes. Okay, let's try that now. Okay, fantastic. Fantastic-ish. Okay, and let's, I got a little air pocket underneath there. So lift that back up. Let's get that air pocket out. Now that can start to dry. Okay, and then we want to dry this finger out and get that guy to stick down. Check our back. Now that side, we're going to want to put a little bit of trim on it from about here to about here. And let's make sure this finger goes down. Let's get this one down too. Oh my gosh, this is minutia stuff. Okay, so just by stretching this a little bit more, we could have probably eliminated this situation, which would be beneficial. So get that correct. Okay, it looked like there's a little line underneath there, so I'm trying to see if there's like a piece of fuzz or something right there in the edge, because that's going to continue to want to keep the film from sticking down. Yep, there was. Okay, it's just a tiny little piece of lint, but it's right on the edge, and the film does not like that. So once they just keep popping back up. Okay, and this needs to come back a little bit that way. We didn't get that fully, it didn't tear, it tore right here, and we still need to pull and tear some off back that direction. Okay, all that is looking really good. We can live with the back, because we're just going to heat that up and push it down, but this part is not going to work. Okay, I can feel that I'm just above right there, so I'm going to start right there at the edge of the material. I'm going to come around like this, come around this corner here. I believe to right about there. See if we can get our fingernail in there and get that torn away. Oh, it doesn't like that. Okay, let's get a new tip here, new blade in this. Okay, let's try this again. So right back here. Okay, let's see. Okay, better. Okay, broke apart. So we've got one going one direction, one going the other. Oh, this is kind of ridiculous. Definitely get a little more stretch on this so you don't run into this. I know it's going to take some effort to figure out where that is when you're lining it up initially, but it'll save you that time right there. So, I mean, even if you can stretch that out just a little bit too much, so that you're well past it, that would be nice at this point. Okay, I'm going to wrap this stuff over a little bit here and just get it that edge dried out so this can start to dry up, and then we'll be able to push this down eventually. Oh, I did, actually, you know what, this is a waste of time. Don't bother with that, because we're gonna put a ton of water on this hood in just a moment. So let's see. And then what about this part? What do you guys think? I think I'm gonna go take a look at the kit, and then what would you guys, I mean, maybe you would cover everything in here. I'm looking at this right now thinking the only thing I'm willing to do in here is maybe like the face of these. So I'm gonna go see what they have for that, and then all the rest of that can just be left alone. You could even really just, I think you could just leave the whole grill alone. We'll take a look. Okay, we do have, hang on. Okay, we do have this popping back up. So in order to get that to ever stick down, we need to go ahead and trim this across all those fingers, which is going to be super fun. So I'm going to go like right in the middle here. I'm not going to bother trying to just get the very bottom edge. Okay, and as like I said before, a little bit of a sawing motion to get across these fingers, because otherwise what happens is you fold them over on themselves and then you double the thickness, right, of the material, and you're not going to be cutting through all of that. Okay, and then we're going to come like right to there. Okay, I think I got through this one because it was really hard to get to cut through that, or to hit it and not cut through it, because it was it basically just pinched the two pieces into each other, and so I basically cut way up here through it and not at the paint, if that makes sense. So I'm not worried that I hit the paint, that's all I'm saying. Okay, that looks great. Let's get this other part now, the other direction. Okay. Dry this back out and push it down, or let's push it down and see what it does. Okay, it is pretty wet right there, so we're gonna go ahead and try that out and then see if that stays down. Well, I kind of messed it up by going over it with the squeegee because when you do this with the squeegee, especially when it's dry like that, you're gonna stretch it a little bit, and then obviously the edge doesn't want to stay down as well as when you just put it down with the towel like this. You're just kind of naturally laying it down instead of putting a little stretch to it with the squeegee. Okay, that looks really good. Let's go ahead and trim this side now, and it looks like we're going to be coming back to, man, I don't know, at least back to here and all the way up. So let's just start like way up here. Let's see where this ends, which is right about there. Come up a little from the bottom, and then we'll just go ahead and cut right through about the middle of this, making sure that whatever we do, do not leave material hanging over the edge. Okay. Back, and then across. Okay. Let's hope I can get this torn somewhere. These edges suck when you're trying to get these to tear. It's like I'm sticking my fingernail like right in the edge, hoping that it'll break apart right there. And I'm gonna go get tweezers. All right, so I was able to get that to tear right on that line, which is great. And we'll just continue to tear that all the way back on our cut line. Hopefully, right? Okay, let's go ahead, and first things first, I'm gonna go ahead and squeegee all this down to get rid of any moisture that might be underneath the material. And I mean, hopefully that gets it to stay down, but I wouldn't anticipate that all of it's gonna stay down until we dry that out. Okay, so I'm just gonna go over this nice and slowly, soak up moisture. Okay, that looks really good now. That edge is still popping up just a smidgen, but it's up higher now, so we know that it's just drying out, and then that's gonna push down eventually here. Same with this, there's still a lot of moisture in there. Okay, so let's take a look and see what we've got for this. I'm willing to do the 3 ribs where something might be able to hit and deflect off of it, and that's gonna be about what I'm willing to do. And actually, I don't wanna do that. But I didn't say I did want to do it, I just said I was willing to. So let's see. And because I dried this out earlier, I'm gonna go ahead and just try and see if any of this dried out enough that I can push it down, and it doesn't really look like it. So a little bit of that might have went down. Yeah, we did get some of that to stick. And really, I mean, if it was doing that, it's just barely going over the edge there, so we're not gonna be able to trim that off unless we come way up into the middle, and I'd like to keep some of that protection for rocks coming in this way, although I think it's all a little ridiculous. It's just really tight tolerances there, and I'm just gonna leave it like this because it's gonna be really hard to trim that off without coming, you know, halfway up and then leaving an edge exposed. All right, so let's check those out. Right down here. Okay, yeah, it's got a louvered. Let's cut this off. It's got those louvers, but they go all the way around them, and I'm just gonna cut that part off and just get the faces of them. All right, I don't know what you're gonna be able to see on here, but it really fills in those whole louvers, and I'm not gonna do that today. So I'm just gonna cut this top part off, and just all I want is that front part of the face. This stuff is super detailed, so I don't hate that necessarily, but you know, it'd be a good install, good coverage, I'm sure, but nope. Okay, so we'll just take this one piece at a time. Oh, I forgot my soapy water, and so I'm just going to be putting this on with tack, which seems like that should be adequate anyway. Okay, I can't really put pressure on it. It wants to stick really fast, which makes complete sense. Okay, so I'm just bumping this down all the way into that bottom in the front here to make sure we're not hanging over the back. Okay, it looks like it could come over just a tiny bit more one direction over this way, so we're not hanging over anything. That looks really good. And we can go ahead and start squeegeeing the top out, and then we can go ahead and take this stuff down into that recess. Okay. So this kit does go over this way and then wraps onto this back part, just on the flat surface there on the face. That would be a lot of work. So if you do that, plan on sitting here for a while. Okay, looking good. Okay. Squeegee across this top, get that to start tacking down, which it wants to do really well because all we have is tack solution. Now, if I was doing these fully, then I would definitely be using slip solution, then adding tack where I needed it. These line up pretty good and lay into place nicely. You know, there's some stuff with paint protection film that I feel like it's just getting too carried away, and I feel like that more coverage on this is just getting carried away. It depends on your customer, it depends on the pricing, depends on a bunch of things, I'm sure. Maybe it depends on your mood, huh? It really depends on your customer and your pricing. And everything, what you guys discussed, what you're doing. That is now down. Okay, and one more on this one. Okay, everything's looking good. All right, terrific. Well, that's the process of installing paint protection film on that. I don't know what they call that. It's not really a vent. Plastic cowling. It's not really a scoop. I don't know. Plastic cowling. That's the process of installing paint protection film on that black part on the hood. And hopefully you found that helpful. And if you did, well, okay, let's say this first too before we do our complete outro here. I am probably going to bring you back and do the heat sealing and pushing down all the edges, so you'll be able to watch that after this outro if you'd like to see that. So go ahead and stick around for that if you'd like to see it. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next one. And I appreciate you guys taking a look. If you liked it, if you found something helpful, give a thumbs up, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. All right, we've got 7 minutes to record this before the camera runs out of memory space. So 7 minutes is what we've got. Can we do it? What's this? I don't know how much this one has, but the Sony has 7 minutes left. So we're gonna go ahead and do the heat sealing process on this. With that, you can see where this thing rubs on the paint right there. Okay, we're just heating these edges up and pushing this down. I get this spot as well. Take that on down the back. There's a seam right there. And we have to heat up this bottom edge across really well. Push it down. That's far enough. Let's roll this over right now, and then we'll finish heating that on the other side. Now we're gonna go around this lettering here, the badging. Oh, these gloves have a hole in them. You know, I knew that, and I meant to grab another glove, and I forgot. Okay, let's get this part now. And you want to get every part. Don't skip stuff. I mean, I want to skip these little pieces right here on each one of these fins, but if you do, those are going to be the ones that get little edges pop up and are going to look bad. A little bit more heat right there. Push that down. Okay, let's get these guys here. Okay, and then we'll push these down all the way around, so down in that recess. Across the top. Oh no! GoPro's got a dead battery. Yeah, man, I thought we had 7 minutes. Not with the GoPro, we didn't. Okay. I'll go ahead. Now, just be careful with this stuff here. It's popped up. It's very easy to heat that up, and then it'll fold over on itself when you're trying to roll it over. So I'm going to roll most of this over now, and then we'll put some heat on it. Okay, and right there, I can't quite reach the edge of it. So let's try this tool here. It's kind of rolling right onto that edge. And it looks like it's gonna stay down just fine. And then this stuff, okay, that corner too a little bit there. Okay. We have 2 minutes left. I think we got the majority of stuff down, so that might just work out perfect. Okay. You guys see me jump a little? Oh, you probably can't see me. I think I jumped a little when the horn honked. Just a tiny bit. Oh, this is this last, oh, there's a little water pocket right there. Probably just needs to be pushed out. I'll get that. Well, heck with it. I'm gonna get it right now. Got it. Okay, we'll get on up here. Some heat across the bottom. On this seam. Okay. My thumb is almost coming through this glove. And from over here, everything is looking pushed down really good. Great. Nailed it. Oh, just in time, I guess. I guess that's good. I don't know. Seems kind of bad timing. Just give me a couple more minutes. I could have made an outro.